Yo, what's up, Kings? It's your boy here, Young V, once again, bringing you another fantastic video. Just ready to rock and roll, just ready to share with you some more insight. Um, Today's a little different, right? Today we're going to talk about books, right? Things that have helped me and have helped, people that I know of, whether it be mentors, friends, people that have spoken to me about certain books to read and certain things that really just changed the whole perspective and game basically in my whole life. So I've got plenty more, but this is the sum total of certain things that I have here that I'm going to bring to you guys. And yeah, so let's just dive right into it. And like I always say, this channel's for men, gentlemen, right? Not boys, not males, but men looking to become the greatest version of themselves. So then, therefore, they can have the tools, right? Whether it be books, knowledge, insight, game, whatever it may be, to become the greatest version of themselves. So they can just go out there and just kick butt, win the day, and just make things happen and build a great life for yourself. Ultimately, that's what it's about, building a great life so you can have control of your life. How you choose to do that is how you choose to do it. You can use these things and these tools for good or for evil, right? Depends on the wielder, right? So, but we're just going to dive into a couple things here real quick, and I'm just excited. So, especially a young man like me, never wanting to read growing up, I really, really prefer to watch the movies and things like that. Nothing wrong with any of that, but I can remember when I would go to a bookstore or this is when I was a kid, and looking at books and picking up DVDs, Charlie Brown and stuff like that, and reading the back. Oh, this seems pretty cool, but then watching the movie, right? So that's kind of where I was at, what I was into. But things change, people change, your mindset changes, you kind of grow, and it's never underestimate the power of being rubbed off on with other people who have the life mindset and results and mentorship. Whether you want their life is one thing, but to be able to have the perspective to have different choices, because trust me, these things change your life when you apply these things. It's so crazy. The law of attraction does work and it only works if you work, right? If you're working and you're putting in the work, the law of attraction will take care of itself. A lot of people want to manifest things, but they don't want to put any work themselves. So it really causes you to put in work. So then therefore you can go ahead and create that life that you really want. So yeah, so a couple of titles that we have here, I'm going to go ahead and pull a few. There's really no specific order, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys what we got. So here's a book we have here. It's called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. So I've given this book to a gentleman, and he's just loving it, right? And I had to get my own book again because I gave it to him. And this book is powerful, right? Really powerful. If you never read it, never heard it, check it out. And by the way, this isn't just for As a Man Thinketh, as in just for men. By the way, this book was written 100 years ago or more. So I don't want to hear this, silliness about, oh, it's just for men. This is for everybody who wants to read. You can read it. And it just helps you become better. It gives you more insight. So highly recommend it. Great book, great read. So anyways, and one of the quotes in the book, he says, men are so eager to change their circumstances but unwilling to change themselves. Therefore, they remain bound. And it's important to understand that. And it's one of my favorite phrases as well. I heard one of my mentors mention that, and I really like that phrase as well because it speaks volume, right? So anyways, that's that book. Moving along. And here we got here. Oh, Think and Grow Rich. If you don't know the cover, you can't read the cover. Think and Grow Rich, then don't get the book, right? So that's what it means. Think and grow rich and become better and have more insight in your life. So highly recommend this book, Napoleon Hill, obviously. There's a lot of knowledge in here. This is one of my first books I really started to read, and just kind of breaks down a lot of good stuff and really good information. I really love the style of this lack of enthusiasm. Yeah, that's what happens with people when they lack enthusiasm in a lot of things in life. Lacking enthusiasm is like being jaded, lacking enthusiasm, having had too much of something. That's what the definition of jaded means, right? And as long as you're not jaded, you'll be all right. So this is a great book. This is what I'm reading now. Emotional Intelligence. As you can see, I'm reading it now. Emotional Intelligence. Highly recommend. This book is absolutely phenomenal. There's a particular part in this book where they go over not judging yourself. It's kind of earlier on in the book. Not judging yourself, whether things are good or bad. Making sure I got all my lists and everything in front of me. So anyways, make sure judging, and make sure you don't judge yourself for your emotions, whether things are good or bad, whether your things are bad in your days or whatever's going on, or things are really good, right? You have really good days or bad days. Just kind of figure out what's going on, why you feel the way you feel, before you make those judgments on your emotions. So then, therefore, you can have a clear perspective on why you're thinking the way you think. And it's changed a lot for me. So, game, communication, whether it be in business, like ladies, anything, trust me, it's phenomenal. So, this is a phenomenal book. I haven't really dove into this too much, but I can tell you right now, this book is powerful. As you can see, phenomenal book. The Way of the Superior Man, right? And it's just a phenomenal book. I've got a lot of guys who have been really grateful that I've recommended this to them because I was recommended by it, right? So I'm not no guru here saying, hey, I know everything. This is knowledge that I've been learning from other people, so I just applied it. So great book for men, and when it comes to dating, spiritual guidance, mastering challenges of women, work, and sexual desire. There you go. Great book overall. So I love the book. Anyways, another book I have here is called An Enemy Called Average. Now this book, I'll tell you, man, this book is fire. Man, it just talks about being average and how it can corrupt how we operate and think. And it says growth comes from building on talents, gifts, and strengths, not by solving problems, right? So, dude, there's a lot of stuff in this, and it just helps you break down on averages on how we operate, how we think, and how our thoughts will manifest our reality. And if we're thinking negative thoughts, we're going to create that in our life. So, and the toxic mentality that will also not only bother us mentally, but it hurt us physically. And everything starts with a thought, right? 90% of sicknesses anyway are mental. So that's a phenomenal book. The book here is highly recommend. If you don't know how to win friends and influence people, I highly recommend you read this. This will help you by Dale Carnegie. Will help you be able to read. Reading this will help you be able to understand people a little bit better and have a better perspective on how to communicate with people. It's always good to have insight because we don't know everything. I don't know everything. And this helped me know a little bit more so I can know more about myself, right? So, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Great read, guys. Switch on Your Brain by Caroline Leaf. Oh my God, this book is great. Where do I start? This talks about your neurons, on how to change your thoughts, toxic thoughts, and changing those thoughts and killing old thought patterns and creating new thought processes and wavelengths so you can take advantage of your brain, right? Because your brain is meant to be your slave. It's not the other way around. You're not slave to your brain, which most of us seem to be. Your brain is meant to be your slave, which means that's the only slave that's supposed to be slave, by the way. And it's meant to, you're meant to, do with it as you will to be able to create the life and mindset that you want. And she talks about all this stuff, like it's 21 days, brain detox plan. So it's phenomenal. So the key to peak happiness, thinking, and health. I love this book. The whole neuron things. I was like, what the heck does that mean? What is neurons? Like, what does that mean? How do I understand that? Once I figured it out, I was like, dude, that's how you get rid of the old ways of thinking, rewrite your thought processes. It takes time. It's not going to be easy. It takes 66 days to create a new habit, something like that. So it takes a little bit of time to create the process, right? So, anyways, great book. So, for gentlemen, right? The 4 Pillars of a Man's Heart. I don't know if you can see that, right? So, The 4 Pillars of a Man's Heart is a great book. Talks about being a king, warrior, mentor, and friend, right? And that's the 4 Pillars of a Man's Heart. Great book. A lot of guys I know read this book. Obviously I read this book. So, Stu Weber is the author. Excuse me, I should have told you all the other authors. I think I did. Enemy Called Average was John Mason, just in case so you guys know. So, anyways, yeah, so really good book, highly recommend this book, guys. So, and last but not least, like I said, I got plenty of other books, but this is, last but not least, is one of my favorites of all time. It's Atomic Habits, and it's out there now. I recommend this to guys, recommend this to ladies. They'll see me read this in the store, they're like, oh, what's that? Hey, what are you reading? And I'll tell them, like, this is Atomic Habits, and I'll tell them what it's done for me, and how it changed your neurons and your thought process and how you do and change things and how you operate. When it comes to the cue and how things start with a thought, right? The cue, whether it become addiction, the dopamine that gets kicked, in our brains, because we all have that chemical release of dopamine, whether it be an intimate attraction to someone or attraction to, uh, um, or drugs or whatever. Like when it comes to gambling, whatever the case may be. Not that gambling is really a bad thing per se. All I'm saying is that the cue that when we're like smoking, right, things like that, when you're really hooked on certain things, that your dopamine levels change, and the longer you do it, the less dopamine reaction you have to it. The spike, starts to plateau. You want people to be in the wanting phase, not the liking phase. They talk about that. Like the wanting phase is like you desire it, right? They just explain like, or James Clear explained that people who are in that wanting phase, like the drug addict, he wants the drug, but once he's in that liking phase, it kind of diminishes it, because now that he's got the hit per se, it's not as effective. And once he has that, that's not really the goal. The goal was to get it, but he was more craving of the goal before he got it. If that makes sense, right? So the wanting phase, right? Like of anything, and great stuff. Talks about how we operate in our minds, and I'm just how to create good habits and how to break bad habits, right? So a lot of good stuff. As you can tell, this book has been thoroughly read multiple times. So I love this book. So the 4 laws of behavior change. Right? So everything starts with a thought, guys, like I said. But anyways, that's it. I got plenty more, but that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about. So guys, knowledge is out there. They always say knowledge is power. And I highly recommend you guys take a look at least one of those books. I'll just go over it again. Atomic Habits, James Clear. James Allen, with As a Man Thinketh. An Enemy Called Average. And this is by John Mason. Pillars of for a Man's Heart is Stu Weber. Dr. Caroline Leaf, Switch on Your Brain. Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends, Influence People. Emotional Intelligence, Travis Bradberry and Jen Grieves. The Way of the Superior Man, David Deida. Deida. Sorry. And then obviously Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. So anyways, guys, in closing, improve, become the greatest version of yourself. Life's too short not to, because if you're not, you're wasting your time, and you're just gonna, wasted time is far worse than wasting money. So just know that, right? So anyways, guys, always pumped proud of you. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, share with your friends, right? This is a movement. And like I always say, you guys just got hit with it off Adonia. You guys have a great night. Take care. Talk to you soon. Peace. Bye.